This has been going since 1798 and is renowned for a dish which has remained unchanged for many years: beef Wellington. The origin of this dish is unclear. Some say it was invented in Wellington, New Zealand, but I like the rumour that it was created in honour of the first Duke of Wellington, Arthur Wellesley.
Well, it's one of the classic dishes of this country, really, isn't it? But it's a bit of a finicky dish to actually make, and a lot of people don't really perhaps have the time or the expertise or whatever else to stand here and make it.
There's a few processes involved. It's not something that you can just come home, bang, in the oven. So you need to think about it, maybe pre-plan a wee bit, and be quite organised.
Because we've had it on for so long, it doesn't actually feature on the menu anymore. Our guests know they simply have to ask for it, and we're delighted to create that for them.
And it's one of those dishes, you know, there's little point in trying to reinvent the wheel. It works. It's worked that way for hundreds of years. So it's a classic, iconic dish.
When I first made beef Wellington, I suppose in 1966, it did seem very complicated. You either had a pâté de foie all the way around it, or you had a sort of mushroom farce. And then to crown it all, you had a pancake. So wrap it in the pancake and then wrap it in puff pastry. It was a huge palaver.
I would say I'm slightly nervous about cooking beef Wellington for Mary, to be honest. If the puff pastry goes soggy, I could be in a lot of trouble here. So.
I would never dream of doing it.
It's such an expensive piece of meat that one doesn't want to ruin it and overcook it, because there's nothing worse than an overcooked fillet of beef.
It's got to be done carefully.
Oh.
How beautiful is that? This is the moment of truth. It's a very large man portion.
Oh, it does look perfect.
That is...
Oh, the meat is beautifully pink, and the crowning glory is the pastry. As I tap my finger against it, this is crisp as can be. Perfection.
I'm a very relieved man, Mary. Very relieved man.
What are we waiting for?
Oh, it is so delicious. This is the most gorgeous flavour.
And none of us have cooked it. What a treat. That really was a stunning beef Wellington. But if you want to make one at home, my version is far simpler. And just perfect for that special dinner party. The first thing you need for beef Wellington is wonderful beef fillet. Now I've got one here, and it is the middle cut. Now that's important if you want to get every slice cooked the same degree. Now it is expensive, but providing you cook it well, it'll be a real treat. It's essential you take the time to seal the meat first. There it is, sizzling. This will give it a much better flavour later on. But you want to do this fairly evenly. You don't want just brown on the top and brown underneath. It's got to be all the way around. Remember, this is not cooking the beef. This is just browning it. Roast at 200 fan for 15 minutes, then let it cool and pop it into the fridge to chill. For the topping, I've fried off 350 grams of mushrooms, but make sure you drain the moisture. You don't want a soggy pastry. And you must let this get cold first, otherwise it would cook the egg yolk like scrambled egg. So in goes the egg yolk. That helps to bind it. To give it a deeper flavour, I'm using grated parmesan, Dijon mustard and fresh teriyaki. Little pepper and salt. And then you just mix that all together. It becomes quite firm. Can you see that? So that is my mushroom farce to go on top of the beef. All we need now is the pastry casing, and I'm cutting a few corners. It's pre-boiled butter puff pastry. Life is too short for me to make puff pastry. At last it's time to finish the beef Wellington. For a foolproof result, everything must be stone cold. So pile that on like that. I'm having a nervous moment. I'm just wondering whether it's going to quite reach. So I'm just going to roll that just a little tiny bit longer there, just in case. I don't want to have to take it off again. That's it. So I'm going to brush around the outside with the egg, and that'll make it stick. Then I'm going to lift that up in one fell swoop, like that. And I haven't stretched it. If you stretch it, it'll go back and shrink. So just press that down like that. Glaze that with the egg that I mixed with milk. Why am I doing that? Because I want the strips to stick. A touch more egg wash will give a glistening finish. Bake at 200 fan for 30 to 35 minutes. Until the pastry is golden brown and crisp. Doesn't that look amazing? There'll be a lot of oohs and ahs at the table when that arrives. You just pull that away like that, and you can see that that's a lovely pink colour. A side of greens and a luxurious tarragon and mushroom sauce are a perfect match. I think I'll get that in one go. Dare I say it, I think that would be my most favourite meat dish to serve for that very special occasion.